Sarah, what are some of the advantages of teaching a baby to sign?
Advantages. I think one of the key advantages is connecting with your little one. Some of the research out there talks about increased language development. There's even one study that looks at increased IQs. But for me, with my own children, it was really the ability to connect with them. Joshua signed fish at 9 months of age, and he wasn't saying that he wanted some fish. And at 12 years, he still wouldn't say that he wants fish. But he was sharing a picture in a book with me. And the look on his face was so incredibly proud that he was able to share this with his mom at 9 months. So it's really that connection that you get. Sabrina's first sign happened at 11 months. She signed later than Joshua. But her first sign was no. And what she was doing, she was crawling over to a plant that we have in the kitchen, looked at me with a big, huge Sabrina smile, and signed no, and then started digging in this plant. So her first sign was joking with me, and she was teasing me, and that's so Sabrina's personality, that she wanted to joke with me and tease with me. And I really think signing with your little ones gives you a picture of who they are and what they're able to do. Even at 9 and 11 months, my kids were connecting and so proud of what they were doing. It was amazing.
So then, how does that carry on into later years? What are some of the traits that you see as a result of them having signed when they were young, where their communication skills are concerned?
Well, the studies out there look at kids who are preschoolers and even kindergarten kids who are signed to. They may be signed to as babies or toddlers, and even in the preschool classroom and kindergarten classrooms, they have larger vocabularies. So, example I used with Sabrina is she knew the sign for ball, and at Christmas time she would point to the Christmas tree and sign ball for every ornament that we have on the tree. And that made me sit down with her for about 20 minutes and talk about the Christmas tree even more. In January, she was 13 months old. She hadn't had any citrus yet. So she pointed to an orange that I had on the counter, and she signed ball again. And what happened is I said, no, it's not a ball, it's an orange. And she corrected me and said ba and signed ball. So we're having this little fight about what this brown orange fruit was. And so I quickly peeled it and gave her little bits of it, and she loved it. Every piece that I gave her, I signed orange back to her. Because she was able to label something incorrectly, signing ball for orange, I saw it as an opportunity to teach her a new word, gave her the orange, taught her the sign for orange. So after every piece, she saw and learned the sign for orange. So because she was able to make a mistake, I was able to see it. I was able to teach her a new word, and it just blew up like that. Sabrina had, at 16 months, she had 80 signs. And at that point, I stopped counting, because you and I, when we were 16, 17 months old, we probably had 10 words. Sabrina had 80. And the difference between 10 and 80 words is not just cute, and it's incredibly cute, but it's massive difference in what they're able to do and what they're able to share and what they're able to learn. So definitely what I see long term is increased vocabulary. Even now, I'm able to sign with them. If we're at a public pool, they're 10 and 12, I can sign with them and give them gentle mummy instructions, because there are places that you can't hear. And I can sign to them across the distance, across the park. Tell my son I love him at a hockey game when he would otherwise not like to hear that from his mom.
What do you think has led to the sort of the dramatic increase? I mean, you have instructors all across North America teaching sign language to babies. What do you think has led to this increase in parents wanting their children to learn?
A great question. I think it's getting out there and seeing other parents doing it. I've had parents that I've taught 4 or 5 years ago stop me in donut shop parking lots thanking me for what I'm doing. And so it's that mom word of mouth that, oh, I know my sister-in-law did this with her babies, and now when I have my own babies, I'm going to do it as well. So it's really an organic just spreading of the knowledge of what happened. And I think it's absolutely incredible.
But you also provide a very important service is probably not the right word, but outlet for children who do have communications or learning delays and that kind of thing. Can you talk about that?
No. um, my background is officially I'm a communicative disorder assistant. So I used to work as an assistant to speech language pathologist. And the kids that I worked with were preschoolers with autism and Down syndrome and other communication difficulties. And what I think is really incredible is typically developing kids are now learning how to sign. And years ago, parents of kids with special needs would say, oh, I don't want to sign with them, even though that's the best thing for their child clinically as a therapist, because nobody knows how to sign. Now, so many children do know how to sign. When Sabrina went into kindergarten, there were two little girls with special needs in her classroom, and she just started signing with them from day one. And I thought it was just incredibly cute. And then I looked over to one of the moms and saw her face that my daughter, who was completely new to her daughter, and vice versa, was able to speak her language and able to play with her. And I think that's just an incredible thing.
Absolutely. What advice would you give to new or expectant parents that are curious about sign language and teaching their babies how to sign about getting started?
Try not to get overwhelmed. You've just been handed this amazing package, and just about everything is overwhelming about a new baby. But you don't need to be completely fluent in American Sign Language. If that's an avenue you want to go down the road, definitely it's an amazing thing to do. But just start with 4 to 5 signs. You can start with milk and more and mommy and daddy. Start with a few and then add them as you get more comfortable, as your baby grows and starts crawling and starts tasting new foods and things. But just start slowly and with your comfort level.
Thanks so much, Sara.
Oh, thank you.